Hello, hi, namaskar to all the viewers of this particular channel, my dear students, CA aspirants who wants to be CA achievers. Please go through all my videos. I'm taking the classes in the sequence. I'm solving so many problems in individual chapter covering the question paper of ICAI board from 2005 to 2025. My dear students, we are in a error class 19. Here the errors are disclosed when here the errors are disclosed in the next year. Earlier I solved one problem with a detailed explanation, but here the next year it is a second problem. Okay, the total class number is 19, means already 18 classes of rectification of errors is completed. This question is being asked in May 2018 for 10 marks. Even the same question is being printed by the Alvas material Mode B3. Now my dear students, Miss Disney was unable to agree the trial balance in the last year, wrote off the difference to the profit and loss adjustment account of that year on verifying the books the chartered accountants in the next year. Now tell me, my dear students, when the errors are disclosed. When the errors are disclosed in the next year, you need to remember the important thing: in the place of income and in the place of expenses, we are supposed to replace it with P&L adjustment account. But the P&L adjustment is not to be used in case of asset, liability and capital. Keep them as it is. Okay, shall we move on to the first point of this particular problem, my dear students? Purchase account. Which account it is? Purchase account was under cost. Now tell me, under cost means what? Less. So what is the answer for this? Take it in same side. Let me search for a site. What it is? Purchases. Purchases means what? Expenses. Expenses means what? Debit. Debit is to be taken in same side means we have to take it in debit side only. Now, if you take debit side, purchases account debit, we can use purchases account debit in two stages of rectification. One before preparing trial balance, another after preparing trial balance. But we are not supposed to use the name of account of expenses and losses when the errors are disclosed in the next year. Then in such case, what we have to use? I told you, we have to use P&L adjustment account. So in the place of expenses, we have to replace with P&L adjustment account. Now, what is the rectified entry for this? What is the rectified entry for this? For this, the rectified entry is, since we have to take P&L adjustment in the debit side, so that is to be taken as P&L adjustment account debit. What is to be written on the credit side? We have to take suspense account on the credit side. Why? Because it is a one-sided error, which means a error which affect the agreement of trial balance. In such case, we have to use the P in suspense account. Fine. Shall we do the answer for this, my dear students? Now the heading is rectified journal entries. Fine. What is the answer for the first rectified journal entry? The answer that what you got from this explanation is P&L adjustment account debit to suspense account. Am I right? P&L adjustment account debit to suspense account is your first rectified entry. So let us write P&L adjustment account debit to suspense account Now what's the amount of this, my dear student? The amount of this is 8,000. Being wrong debit in purchase account is rectified. That's all the narration. Shall we move on to the second one, my dear students? See what happens in the second entry. Sale of goods to Rahim 2500 was omitted to be recorded. क्या किए आपने? omitted किए. क्या omit किए? Sale of goods to Rahim. When you sold, sales means what? Sales means income. Income means what? P&L adjustment account. Income is to be what? Income is to be credited. I repeat my explanation. Sale of goods, sale means income. In the place of income, my dear student, we have to use P&L adjustment account, that is to be credited. बाद में आपने किसको सेल किए? Sold to Rahim. When you sold goods to Rahim, Rahim is whom? Rahim is a debtor. Debtor is a asset. Asset is to be debited. ये भी करेक्ट है, वो भी करेक्ट है. Did you record it? No, it is not recorded. Now you have to record. Then what is the entry? How to record? Sales means P&L adjustment. Please remember, sales is the income. In the place of income and expenses, we have to use P&L adjustment account. Now, when you understood this, instead of calling it as a sales, we have to call it as P&L adjustment account. P&L adjustment account is to be credited. Debtor account is to be debited. Then when you give a journal entry, what is the entry for this? Debtors account debit to P&L adjustment account. Who is a debtor here? Rahim is a debtor. So in the place of debtor, you must and should use the name of a debtor when it is mentioned in the problem. Rahim's account debit to P&L adjustment account. Shall we give the second entry? Rahim's account debit P&L sometimes the pen will give some problem. Wait for a few seconds. It will get up. Get ready. P&L adjustment account. How much amount it is P&L adjustment account? P&L. See now, the pen started working. Okay, please cope up for here and there some technical issues, my dear students. We can't have a control on technical issues. Fine. How much amount, my dear students? It is an amount of rupees 2,500. Shall we write the amount of 2,500 here? Again, the problem. Wait for a few minutes. Okay, I use a free hand to write. Now it's working. 2,500 dash 2,500. Now what might be your narration? Being sale of goods to Rahim is now recorded. Hai na? Then next. See the next transaction, my dear students. Receipt of cash from Ashok posted to the account of Mr. Anub. My dear student, when you received cash from debtor, from Ashok, you are receiving cash from whom? Is it possible to receive a money from a person who is walking on the street? No, they never give. Do you think the people who are walking on the street will give you money? The person whoever gives money to you is none other than your debtor. Debtor is a person who gives money to the business. Am I right? This is what you learned in first PUC. First PUC of your accountancy subject. Now, whenever you are receiving money from a person, that person is none other than debtor. So, when you received money from debtor, debtor decreased. When the debtor decreased, debtor is to be credited. It is a correct credit. But आपने received money from Ashok, but किधर entry डाले? The entered in the books of Mr. Anub. That is means a wrong credit to Anub. You have recorded the entry in another debtor. Received from Ashok, entered in Anub. What is your rectified entry? Keep the correct in the same place. Shift the wrong in the opposite place. Now a question arises. Sir, can we use P&L adjustment? Please remember, when to use P&L adjustment? Use when there is a income. Use P&L adjustment when there is a income and when there is a expenses. Do you think debtor are the income and expenses? I think no, because debtor is an asset. No need to use. Then what is your rectified entry? Use the same name. Ashok is to be debited. Hai na? Ashok is to be debited. Arnab is to be, Ashok is to be credited because credit. Arnab is to be debited. Anub is to be debited. Because it is the wrong credit comes in the debit side. So, Ashok is to be credited. Anub is to be debited. Now your entry will be Anub's account debit to Ashok's account. The third entry. Anub's account debit to Ashok's account. How much amount? 1200. Dash 1200. Being wrong debit to Anub's account is rectified. Fine. Shall we move on to next one? Amount of 4167. Amount of 4167 of sale was wrongly posted as 4617. Fine. First, let me see the number. Instead of recording 4167, they have recorded it as 4617. अब क्या हुआ? Instead of recording 4167, you have recorded 4615. What is the gap? 4615, 4167, 65. This is 7. This is also 7. 7 में 7 गया तो 0 हुआ. Here 5 आया. इधर क्या आता माँ? 5 में 8 गए तो 4 आता. So what is the difference? Difference is 450. What is the difference? Difference is 450. Is it under recorded or over recorded? Instead of recording 4167, you have recorded 4617. It means over हुआ. Over किधर हुआ? अब देख लेंगे. It is entered in sales. Sales means what? Income. Income किधर आता? Credit side आता है ना. अब क्या लिखना? अब over credited. अब क्या हुआ? Over credited. When it is over credited, where we have to take? We have to take it in opposite side. Opposite side means it is credited. Where we have to take? We have to take it in debit side. What is to be taken in debit side? What we have to take? It is sales. Sales is a income. Income means P and L adjustment. So now, my dear student, P and L adjustment is to be taken in credit, in debit side, because ये तो अंडर कास्ट ओवर कास्ट हुआ. सो क्या लिखना? P and L adjustment account debit. Then what is to be written on the credit side? It is none other than suspense account, because it is a one-sided error. I hope you got it right. I explained so neatly in detailed manner. Instead of recording 4167, see, instead of recording 4167, you have recorded 4615. Since it is a sales, sales is a income, income means credit, credit is over credited. When it is over credited, we have to take it in opposite side. Opposite side, where we have to take? We have to take it in opposite side, means for credit opposite side it is a debit. So now the entry will be what? Entry number 4, that is P and L adjustment account debit to what? सस्पेंस अकाउंट. अमाउंट कितना है? अमाउंट तो कितना आया अब? 450 आया. बीइंग, क्या लिखना नरेशन? बीइंग over cost in sales account is rectified. Fine. Let me see the next one. Repairs to machinery. What it is? Repairs to machinery debited to machinery account. Tell me, my dear student, when it is a repairee is a expenses. In the place of expenses, we have to use P and L adjustment. Expenses means it is to be debited, correct debit. These are the explanation. Repairs means expenses. In the place of expenses, use P and L adjustment. As a expenses comes in debit side. When you debited in machinery account, it is a what debit? Wrong debit. Now how to rectify? Keep the correct in the same place, shift the wrong in the opposite place. Did you understood? Always I used to tell you, for every transaction I used to repeat it. Keep the correct in the same place, shift the wrong in the opposite place. Now what is your entry? Repairs to debit करना, मशीनरी तो क्रेडिट करना. रिपेयरी डेबिट करना, मशीनरी क्रेडिट करना, जो भी करे तो क्या होता? Repairs account debit to machinery account. That is the entry number what? 5. Some students will repairs to machinery also. We can write even repairs to machinery, or else you can write repairs account debit to what, my dear students? Machinery account. How much it is? It is an amount of rupees 1800. Being wrong debit to machinery account is rectified. Wrong debit to machinery account is rectified. Shall we move on to the next one? Credit purchase of goods from Paul, rupees 3000, entered in the sales book. बाप रे, बहुत अच्छा है ना ये. Sales purchase किए आपने, recorded in sales book. See how it comes. A beautiful entry. This is a very, very beautiful entry, especially when the errors is disclosed in the next year. Let me see. Credit purchase. Purchase means what? Expenses. In the place of expenses, what we have to use? We have to use P and L adjustment. What is the correct answer for this? It is to be debited. Then who is Mr. Paul when you purchase? Mr. Paul is your creditor, is your trade payable. Creditor is to be credited. That is also correct. But my dear students, you entered where? Sales book. When you entered sales, sales is an income. In the place of income, what we have to use? P and L adjustment. Is it correct or wrong? Wrong. That to be income means wrong credit. मालूम हुआ? I repeat my explanation. Purchase is a expenses, debited. Paul is a creditor, credited. Sales is a wrong income, recorded as a income, wrongly recorded, so it is a wrong credit. Now what is your rectified entry? I never go for the rectified entry directly. I always used to tell you, keep the correct in the same place, keep the correct in the same place, shift the wrong in the opposite place. Means what we have to do? Purchase account is to be debited. Purchase means P and L adjustment. Let me write here. See how I will make the entry. Here only I will write first. Now when you people write correct in the same place, that is, instead of purchases, my dear student, instead of purchases I have to write what? P and L adjustment account debit with an amount of rupees 3000. Fine. Purchases means expenses. In the place of expenses use P and L adjustment. P and L adjustment account debit 3000. बराबर हुआ? अब क्रेडिटार को क्या करना? क्रेडिट, करेक्ट क्रेडिट साइड में डालना. Now I will write to Mr. Paul. I mentioned it on credit side. Now it is a wrong credit. Where we have to take? We have to take it in debit side. Since it is a income, income means P and L adjustment. When you wrongly credited, you are take it in debit side. P and L adjustment account debit 3000 dash. अब Paul को कितना डालना? 6000 डालना. Because instead of recording as a purchases in Paul, wherein Paul is you, Paul you are a Paul is creditor for you, but when you recorded in debtor, sales, you converted into debtor. So that's why it comes double amount. Now, do you think can we write 2 times P and L adjustment in our account books? No, we have to write only 1 time. That is P and L adjustment account debit 3000 plus 3000 कुल मिला के 6000 to Mr. Paul's account. Don't write 2 times P and L adjustment. We have to write only 1 time P and L adjustment account. Okay, let me get ready with the journal format. Now, what might be your journal entry? 6th entry. That is P and L adjustment account debtor. Amount comes how many times? 3000 plus 3000. It comes to 6000 dash to Mr. Paul's account. वो भी कितना आता? 6000. Being wrong crediting, being my dear student, being a wrong credit in sales account is rectified. So this completes all the entries. Suggest the necessary entries, right? Suggest the, what they are asking, suggest the necessary entries. Fine, rectified entries. Now we completed all the entries. Since it is the rectification of the next year, compulsorily what we have to prepare? Compulsorily we have to prepare P and L adjustment account. From the P and L adjustment, the balance goes to capital account. So you mention the entry number 7. Try to have around 5 to 6 lines gap, because that is required for passing one more entry after completion of your P and L adjustment account. Let me, my dear students, let me prepare a P and L adjustment account. Shall I start my explanation, my dear student? See, in your first entry, P and L adjustment to suspense, since the suspense is in the credit of ledger. Since the suspense is in what side of ledger? Since the suspense is in credit side of ledger, so it comes to debit side of your P and L adjustment account. There we have to write to suspense account. How much amount in the first entry? 8000 है ना. अब 8000 लिखना बाद में. Second entry, Rahim's account debit to P and L adjustment. Now Rahim is in what place of journal? He is in the debit place of journal. So it goes to where? He goes to the credit side of the ledger. Shall we write on the credit side? What to write? By Rahim's account, I think it is an amount of rupees 2500. Fine. Shall we move on to the third one, my dear student? See what happened here. Anup to Ashok. Do you think Anup and Ashok, we have a P&L adjustment here? No. So leave it. Now, see the next concept. That is your P&L adjustment account debit to suspense. Since suspense account is in the credit of side of journal, when it is in the credit side of journal, it comes to the debit side of ledger. So what we have to write? We have to write to suspense account with 450. Now let me move on to the last transaction. Repairs to machinery. Oh, repairs aaya hai na? So I have forgotten. See, repairs means what? In the place of repairs, we have to write P&L adjustment account. So now the repairs account will get cancelled. Sorry, I forgotten while teaching. So here also I change in the fifth entry. In the place of repairs, I have to use P&L adjustment. I have mentioned, but there I didn't use it. So now your entry will be what? P&L adjustment account debit to machinery. Machinery is in the credit side of journal. Machinery kidhar haima? Machinery is in the credit side of journal. So it goes to the debit side of ledger. Now we have to write to machinery account with an amount of how much? 1800. Ayanab. Now you have to close. See how much you are getting. It is 250. Now 10,250, right? Find out the difference. When you find out the difference, one more entry. Here also we have P&L adjustment to Mr. Paul. So what we have to write? To Paul's account. One more entry is there, na? That is of rupees 6,000. It comes to 16,250. Out of 16,250, you subtract 2,500. It comes how much? 13,750. It is to be transferred to where? It is to be transferred to capital account as a balancing figure. Since capital account is on the credit side of ledger, it goes to what side? It goes to debit side of journal. When it comes to debit side of journal, the entry is what? Rashmi's account debit to correct na? Rashmi's this one, sorry. Since the capital is in the credit of journal, since the capital is in what side? Since the capital is in the credit side of journal, ledger, since the capital, I repeat my explanation, sorry for that. Since the capital is in the credit side of, since the capital account is in the credit side of, since the capital account is in the credit side of ledger, so it comes to the debit side of journal. For that entry will be capital account debit to P&L adjustment account with an amount of rupees 13,750 dash 13,750. I hope, my dear students, you understood the entire problem of this. Please take care. Try to understand in a proper way. Okay? Don't forget to give your likes. Thank you so much. Good night. Bye-bye.